The pen felt heavy. My husband smirked and said, "Sign it, or I'll drag this divorce for years." I signed, dropped my keys on the table, and walked out of my own penthouse. The next morning, his lawyer called him screaming, and I knew my trap had landed. 6 years earlier, I met him at a Seattle charity gala. I was 32 and newly promoted. He had the perfect suit and a revolutionary startup he could never explain. I ignored the vague answers because he made me feel chosen. My mom had died before the wedding, but she left me 3 things: a vintage Cartier watch, her watercolor paintings, and a handwritten note telling me not to let anyone dim my light. The watch stayed in my safe. The paintings hung on our walls. The letter stayed in my nightstand like a spine. At first, marriage looked normal. Then his company failed. Then another. I paid the bills and cleaned up debt he hid from me. He spent my money like it was his birthright. Then came the texts. Tuesday night, his phone lit up on the counter while he showered. A heart emoji next to a name. "Can't wait to see you tomorrow, baby." I scrolled. 6 months of lies. 6 months of planning to take half of my life. I looked her up an influencer, and there she was wearing my mother's Cartier watch, the one I'd misplaced 3 months earlier. I didn't confront him. I screenshotted everything, emailed it to myself, and put his phone back exactly where he left it. He slept beside me like nothing was wrong. I stared at the ceiling and started planning. The next morning, I called my old college roommate, now a family law attorney. "I need help," I said, "and I need you to be discreet." She studied the proof and said, "Without a prenup, he'll try to grab half." So we let him think he already won. He talked me into destroying the prenup on our first anniversary. "We're partners," he'd said. "No barriers." So for months, I played sweet. We moved the penthouse into a trust as my separate property. I'd bought it with inheritance money before I ever met him. I installed tiny cameras, video only. The footage was ugly. Him and his influencer girlfriend in my home, her digging through my jewelry box, both of them laughing as she tried on my mom's earrings. Then they boxed up 3 of my mother's paintings and carried them out like trash. I came home to blank spaces on the walls and called my husband. "Have you seen my mom's paintings?" He sounded bored. "Oh, those old things. I donated them. They were depressing." Depressing. That was his word for my mother's life. Framed. My attorney drafted a simple separation acknowledgement for him to sign. It looked harmless. Buried in it was one brutal line. He accepted compensation and waived future claims. The only challenge was his signature. Luckily, he never read anything longer than a menu. 3 weeks ago, he sat across from me with demands. "I want the penthouse," he said. "Half your income. Spousal support." I argued. I let my voice shake. Then I caved. "Fine," I said. "Just sign this first. It's a formality." He signed while texting her about their victory celebration. Then he shoved the final paperwork at me, the one he thought handed him the penthouse. I signed too. He didn't know the penthouse was already protected. He also didn't understand he'd already signed away his right to come after anything else. Here's the moment he'll replay forever. First, he woke up alone, grinning. Then the smart home stopped recognizing his voice. Next, building management told him he wasn't an owner. After that, his Tesla refused to start. Again, his cards declined because they were tied to me. Then he called his girlfriend, and she wouldn't answer. Finally, police knocked on her door with a warrant. My cameras didn't just catch cheating, they caught theft. Police recovered everything from her apartment. My mom's watch, her earrings, my grandmother's ring, and the stolen paintings still in their frames. She got charged. My husband got served with a civil suit, and his own lawyer screamed at him for signing documents he didn't read. 6 weeks later, the divorce was final. He got nothing, and the court ordered restitution. She took a plea deal and returned everything. Last week, I rehung my mom's paintings. I put her watch back in the safe beside her letter. Then I poured a glass of wine and toasted the quiet room. To new beginnings, I said, and to never dimming my own light. Drop your thoughts in the comments. Would you have confronted him immediately or stayed quiet and let him fall?